Hey Donna fans, you're tuned in to the AFTERBUZZ TV after show for Ray Donovan, Season 4, Episode 9, Goodbye Beautiful. Join us as we break down the episode and give you our thoughts and predictions. Let's go!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV! And now, let the buzz begin!
You want to dance so bad right now.
It gets me every time, this song.
So good. Here we go, everybody. Welcome on in to the AFTERBUZZ TV after show for Ray Donovan. I am your lead host, Frank Maiorana. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Let's Go Frankamp. And I'm joined by the amazing looking tonight, the dressed up Olivia Gabaree.
What's up, guys? Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thereal_O_G.
So we have a shocking episode, I thought, this week, and one that truly surprised me in a lot of ways. I don't think we've had, this type of killings and events that have happened in an episode so far this season. What are you thinking of this just straight off the top?
To be honest, the reason I asked you before this how many episodes were left was because I felt that so much stuff happened in this episode that the finale had to be coming, I felt like it was setting out perfectly, but we still got a couple left.
This even had a sort of a season finale type of feel to it. But before we get into the episode, I always like to start the show with our social media shout-outs, so be sure to use the hashtag #ABTVRayDonovan out there on Twitter or commenting directly on our YouTube page, and we'll read your comments on the air, which is what I'm about to do right now. So some really good listener feedback this week, Olivia. The first one that I really liked was from Miss Lost Nikita, and she said, if you're not prepared to go to prison in case something goes wrong, then you're not prepared to handle a gun. I really hope Connor has learned a lesson for good. I totally agree with her on that, and I was relieved that we didn't see any Connor tonight.
I know. Well, I want to ask, because I wasn't here for the last episode, but when I was watching it, I knew I could envision you watching it, being like, finally, Connor gets what he deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thrilled with last week's episode and him getting scared downtown and Ray teaching him a lesson. I like that a lot. I think he got off a little bit easy, actually.
I do too, but he was like, he doesn't have to scare me. He was being such a baby for such a tough guy. So.
Yeah, he's a total D-bag, but did have some honest moments when he said, you guys are all from Boston, but I'm just some prick from Calabasas. I really like that line from last week. So I really like that listener feedback. Also, McCall, who is not with us tonight, but she hates Marisol. She let it go free last week that she has a real problem with Marisol. And one of our listeners out there commented, this is from What FC. She said, he or she said, Marisol is completely and totally screwed up. She doesn't have a sensible end goal. She's a junkie. She thrives on chaos. She was the victim of incest and perpetuated the same abuse she received on someone else. This isn't a carefully calculated plan. She wants Hector's complete attention. And if she can't have that, she wants to wreak havoc. And that was posted 6 days ago. I mean, that, as far as a prediction, was spot on for tonight. What'd you think of Marisol tonight?
I mean, whoever that is kind of painted the picture perfectly. It's obvious that she just craves Hector's attention. She will do anything in order to achieve that. So,
yeah. This was, it was tough. I feel for Hector. I really like that comment, though, What FC, and please keep commenting out there. Someone named TDCR says, Hector is so ... yum. So I want to include
he's okay.
a little bit of, he's all right by you. I want to include a little bit of humor out there because our listeners are funny. So thank you, everybody, for commenting out there. Again, please keep doing it, and we like to acknowledge you at the start of the show. But Marisol just came and, lit things on fire. Daryl gets in the middle again, and he's there to deliver a check and a message, which she doesn't like, and, of course, gets upset and burns things, right in the Fight Club.
Right.
I really think this is just the beginning for her over the course of the next 3 episodes to finish out the season, I think she's going to get even more and more dangerous and unhinged unless somebody forcibly takes action to remove her from the picture. And I don't mean kill her or anything. I'm just saying, like, get her into a home or somewhere where she's going to be cared for. If she's left to her own devices, she's going to keep causing trouble for Hector.
It just seems like it's something that he can't escape at this point. He does whatever he can. He's paying her, like, trying not to be violent with her, but she's just not going away, and I'm not sure what it's going to take at this point.
Yeah, last week, McCall predicted and hoped for Marisol to throw herself off the bridge, and and we even went so far as to predict that at Hector's fight that's coming up in the next episode or two, that she would throw herself off the roof of the venue where he was fighting.
My goodness.
So that's getting you caught up on her predictions right there.
What a prediction.
Yeah, so look, it's entirely possible. I think she could really make that kind of statement where, you know, Hector says for real, and I think the way the characters are interacting with each other, it seems like they fight, they make up, they fight, they make up, and they've been doing this for years. So for her to do something new or, you know, to commit suicide, I would think Hector would have to show, you know, a feeling that it's truly over between them and that nothing is going to change. I'd like to see Father Romero come back and get in the picture.
I know, during all of this, I am still wondering, like, where is the rest of their family? No one's coming forward or like getting in the middle of this, or at least having something to say, you know? It's bizarre.
That's a good point. You would think that we'd see a lot more of the media coverage of it and how embarrassed Hector would be. This is something we talked about last week where it just seemed like he got drunk and, you know, it felt like a breakup where he just kind of got over it a little bit.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what we've got coming for Hector and Marisol, as I think we'll focus more on those two characters in the next few episodes here as we get closer to Hector's fight.
Well, I even thought it was very interesting, just one more point about them, is when she was packing all of those things in the suitcase, she's very much in love with him, obsessed with him, whatever it is, pictures, cards, notes, like piles and piles of it. It's like they were really something serious, or from, you know, her perspective, they are.
Yeah, and it's difficult for us as rational people to understand, but I think, you know, there is a course of action when you have somebody who's obsessed with somebody else. You know, I could see her acting this way, so it's interesting to watch. I'm certainly involved, and I pay attention when Lisa Bonet comes on the screen, and we get to see what happens. So it's something to watch over the next couple episodes. But we had a great plot line tonight with Bill Prim and Mickey trying to go and win Sylvie back and escape to Boston with a couple $1 million. I kind of felt like Mickey was back to his old tricks tonight, you know, trying to steal from the safe.
Yeah, of course. Because, you know, he painted us the picture that he was so in love. He needs to go back and get his girl. But there's always a twist. It's not just for the girl. It's for the money as well. So. Yeah,
and I felt bad for Bunchy being in the middle of this again. He's finally got Teresa back. And she's in the car, still sick. And here's his dad handing him a gun and saying, you know, just, you know, have my back in this moment.
I was thinking that exactly, because we already knew that she has such a problem with his family, and, you know, she works so hard to try to get them to Bunchy to separate from them, and here she is sitting in the backseat literally listening to Mickey be like, okay, so here's the gun and this is what we're gonna do, and it's, you know, back to square one.
Yeah, and it gets really sloppy in the middle. The whole time, you just know it's not going to go right.
Oh, for sure.
You know it's a bad plan, and you can't crack a safe like that in 15 minutes. But Mickey tries it, and all hell breaks loose. So, you know, Bill Prim comes downstairs. Mickey goes upstairs and just points a gun at him. Oh, here's plan B. I'm going to point my gun at you. But wait, before we get into it, I thought it was a little weird that Sylvie was sleeping with Bill Prim.
And putting his weave in.
And
that was so weird.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
How do you forget about that? I was like, this guy.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the robbery, but you're totally right. I mean, that was strange. I mean, he's talking about like some beauty person who gets it exactly right, and she's there braiding his hair or something.
But it is kind of weird. It had me sort of questioning where, I mean, of course we're not going to know now, but I couldn't really figure out Sylvie. It's like, was she in love with Mickey? Like, did she really care about him? Or she kind of just, it seemed to me she kind of just went where the moment took her, like whatever was in her best interest.
Yeah, that could be true, though. I think she took some really big risks, and it ultimately cost her her life, allowing Mickey into the house and, conspiring with him to get the money out of the casino. I think she really loved him. I think she really cared. And in fact, I thought she was a little bit casual about letting Mickey in the house. And
so that's what see, that whole entire scene was just so weird. She just lets them in the door. Yeah. They're like not really quiet or in a rush. Yeah. They're just walking around.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Was weird.
I thought it was, like I said, too casual, too easy at first. And I suppose if he's, sleeping with, that CPAP machine, I guess he wouldn't, Bill Prim I'm talking about, wouldn't hear it. But, that was really strange where, he's getting his hair braided, working on his weave as they're welding away, downstairs to break open the safe door. So anyway, all hell breaks loose. Mickey threatens Bill Prim, comes downstairs, and then unfortunately Sylvie gets capped because Larry shows up, who is Bill's security guard. Just sort of randomly, like perfectly on time, he shows up while the robbery is going on. I thought, why wasn't the security guard there to begin with? Guys that rich generally have some security around. But anyway, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for that. So, words are exchanged. Larry shoots Sylvie. And that just broke Mick's heart. And, credit to Jon Voight, you see just his entire motivation, his entire plan, his life just sinking. And the money doesn't matter anymore. I felt for him in that moment.
You could tell he was just kind of broken up about it.
Yeah.
But, can we talk about how Teresa came out the cut?
Yeah. That's the other thing. That was really cool.
It was so, I was like rooting for her, screaming the whole entire time because, she looked just so sick and so miserable in the car. But when she finally got on the phone and spoke to the baby, that was kind of a little bit of a breakthrough. Yep. And I was like, okay, like we're getting there. And then for her to just like have Mickey's back and run in the house like that, I was like, yes, that's awesome.
That was really cool to see her bust out of her depression in with literally a busting over the head of Larry with the guitar, which was unique because when Mickey bought a guitar for Bridget, I thought, oh, that's kind of out of place. It doesn't make a lot of sense being in a pawn shop and you buying a guitar for your granddaughter. But it had a plot point later on, obviously, when Maria grabs the guitar.
I called her Teresa.
Or Teresa. It is Teresa. I'm sorry. Maria Teresa.
Yes,
My bad.
We got all them mixed up.
It is Teresa. So, that was fun to see her, but she's a half step too late, and Sylvie's already dead. I know. Which was sad. It was sad. I felt bad for Mickey.
I really did too.
I kind of felt bad for Bill Prim too. I mean, he didn't ask for any of this trouble.
I know. And didn't you kind of feel for him when he was like, look, I let you and your son go. And it's almost, I want to be like, Mickey, just let him go. But of course, that's not in his best interest because he would get it in the end. So.
Oh, that's absolutely. There's no going back.
Yeah.
They passed the point of no return as soon as they step in that house. If they weren't going to get away scot-free, once Mickey goes in that bedroom, it's over. Bill Prim's got to die. And I liked that they didn't show Bill Prim getting shot and killed. I like that.
And it's just, did they say that he was killed or it was just assumed? Because that was a big thing for me too. I was watching it with my friend and afterwards we were kind of just like, wait, did he die? Did he die? Do you remember him getting shot? And I was like, no, I don't remember that part. But...
I think it's pretty clear that he died. It's kind of like No Country for Old Men when Anton walks out of the house and scrapes his boot on the ground. And it's just so obvious that he just killed someone. And I think that's kind of the same situation here. And it's exactly for what you said, that Mickey just can't let him live or they'll be hunted.
Yeah.
Because Bill Prim knows him. Bill Prim knows the police. Obviously, we saw a few episodes ago Ray and Mickey getting held up by the police. But I agree with you. Like, he did show Mickey mercy and Ray mercy. He got his money back, collected on his insurance, and made double the money for the problem. I thought they both had arguments that were fair. And so that's what made it, I thought, a really thrilling scene. Mickey said, you got your money back, so give me mine.
Right.
Which is kind of, I mean, it's Mickey, it's stupid. Like, you stole it, it's not your money.
Right.
But still, like, there's a way where both could get away with, having their money and moving on.
And this is the first time that it was the whole insurance situation was brought to my attention.
Yeah.
So is that, you think, why he didn't shoot them in the first place? Because I thought it was so weird that he just let them go and that was it. But could that be the reasoning?
I think that could be true, where he reported his money missing. Probably collected on the insurance on it, and, the police kept it hush-hush that they got the money back. And, I think he let him go after that. You don't come back here. But Mickey came back.
Yeah, of
and
course.
he won. He won in a way, but he lost in a very significant other way. So I really don't know where Mickey goes from here now. He's going to come back home, and what's his purpose? His purpose was Sylvie. His purpose was getting back to Boston and starting a clean new life, and that has not come to pass for him.
Nope.
So we'll have a lot to see from Mickey moving forward. I want to remind everybody out there, please follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our page, give us a thumbs up, or subscribe to us on iTunes as well, and leave us a review there. We really appreciate all our listener feedback. The other side of this episode was Ray and the Russians. Belikov arrives in Russia. They open the crate and see that it is him, which we could see coming a few episodes ago. We knew it was coming. And Dmitri gets on a plane and heads straight for America, bent on vengeance. I was fearful for Ray's family. I didn't know if Sonia and Waller and Vlad were going to turn against Ray, but it turns out Sonia, after her very erotic experience with Ray, has become, slightly protective of him and just says, help me and get me out of here.
Right.
What was your take on that?
I don't know if I see it as protective of Ray. I see it as protective of herself.
Okay.
She seems, I don't know, she seems like a selfish person to me. It's always kind of what's in her best interest, and that's how she and Ray developed the relationship to begin with, because he could offer her something, and so it was good for her.
Yeah. And
like she said, all of her resources were cut off, so she had no other way to leave unless Ray was the way. So
yeah, that is true. And there was a big plot point tonight about whether or not Sonia should get killed. And I understand it because she saw the security camera footage. That's why Ray and Avi and Lena had to work together to eliminate, each one of the three people, or get rid of them, I should say, because Ray didn't kill Sonia. Lena, gosh, I love Lena.
I know.
I love seeing her.
So boss of her.
She's such a badass, and you just know things are going to go well when you have Lena in your corner. And so she lures Vlad to the top floor of a parking garage near LAX. I thought that was some really cool shots to see the airplanes in the background moving around, like a very active city in the background. You're so close to getting away, but then she traps Vlad. And it also locates us well as an audience because Ray is at the airport watching Sonia go.
Right. And don't you, I feel like that guy was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Let me just pull up to a parking lot with no other cars, just me. I know you're following me, and he just walks up to the car. I would have been a little bit more suspicious, don't you think?
Well, I think for him, he's on a mission too. He wants to kill Sonia.
Yeah.
So to him, that's oh yeah, sweet.
Jackpot.
Yeah, jackpot.
So
no one's
weird.
around. And he expects it to be her. And I think their relationship was one of trust before.
Right.
So he's going to walk up and I bet he assumed that she would just roll down the window and she would see him and they'd talk and he'd blow her away right there in the car.
So she was kind of one-upping him in a way. She already knew that he would be coming after her.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I half expected as Vlad was walking up, Lena to throw the car in reverse and go run him over. Because I didn't think she would have enough time or there would be a conversation between the two, as it turned out to happen. But Lena was really good. She sat in there, looked at the guy, shocked him in that half second where he was shocked. Ended up getting him shot. And now he's gone. I'm glad he's gone. It's one less threat for the Donovan family. But now we have a whole new cast of characters. We have, obviously, Dimitri, who worked with Waller to trap Avi in the attorney's office. Man, that was bad to watch Avi get beat up.
It broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we always see him come out on top. You know, he's like a ninja. He always, no matter how many people are on him, he always comes out, you know, fighting. But he really didn't have a chance this time.
Yeah, just surrounded by 8 guys and severely beaten. And I love Avi. I always felt like he's been sort of our anti-hero conscience. You know, do things the right way, minimize the problems in your life. And, you know, he's always been encouraging Ray to go home to his wife. You don't want all of this trouble. He seems to have a soul, even though he does very dark things. So to see him getting beat up was really disappointing. And he's near death now.
Those effects, that makeup was absolutely insane. It really grossed me out. Not kind of. It was... I don't know. It just looks so real, but he really looks like he's suffering. I don't know what's going to come for him next.
I agree with you, and props to the makeup and costume department and the fight choreography too. When, you know, Avi's getting kicked, the sound too. It's like this thumping, you know, it sounds like you're just hitting a watermelon over and over again as hard as you can, and I felt every blow to Avi, and went, oh no,
yeah,
that's awful. And when, you know, there was a couple points tonight where I was watching it, and I haven't done this in a while, where I've blurted something out, you know, watching the episode.
I found myself yelling at the screen time and time again. I was like, oh God, I need to relax.
Oh yeah, when Sylvie got shot, I went, oh shit. I was like, I'm in my living room by myself watching this. You know, it just happens. But that's what good TV does. When you're just so pumped up or shocked, or, you know, where I literally have to verbalize a response to the TV. That's why I love this show and think it's a lot of fun. But another point was, you know, what we've been talking about here. And it's a scary time for Avi. I really don't know what's going to come his way. I'll save that for predictions here coming up in a little bit. But Avi may be outmatched this time.
I hope not.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But Sonia escapes, gets out, flies out on the plane, and Ray doesn't do anything. And let me ask you this. Why do you think Ray let her go?
I don't know. I just feel like first of all, he doesn't really kill women. He kind of seems very, like, protective over them. And I think the fact that he saw, like, her daughter, that played a very large part in it as well. I don't know. I just think it wasn't in his best interest to kill her. Like, it didn't seem very necessary at this point. If she was willing to remove herself from the situation and just disappear, then it's kind of easy enough. But...
yeah, I think that's fair. I think he has to trust her if he's going to just let her go. Obviously, we found out Dimitri wants her back, and we'll see if he's able to get her back or not. I doubt it. I think he's just going to have to walk into that law office and work something out with Dimitri to get Avi out of there. But, yeah, I think there's clearly a connection between Sonia and Ray. The breast cancer story being a mirror of Abby's was, I think, one of the reasons why Ray felt close to her. She had a daughter. So, you know, it's, I think you're largely on the point there where, you know, he has a soft spot for her and he helps get her away. Pretty awkward scene between Abby and Sonia, though. at the kitchen table.
So my question was finally answered, because remember that scene in the closet with Ray and Abby?
Yep.
I wasn't too sure whether, because we knew he was going to say something. He kind of started off, the woman that I work with, and Abby was like, no. And she cut him off right there. But I just had assumed he was going to tell her that he had a thing with her, but he could have also told her, she was in this similar situation as you and this, that, and the other thing. But we found out that Abby did know that Ray cheated on her.
Well, he didn't even have to say it, and that's another thing about this season of Ray Donovan and this show overall. Things that aren't said, the Bill Prim we not seeing that he gets shot and killed. We know that happened. Abby recognizing, Ray is being honest with her, and that's why I think she stays in it. Yeah. Because she says something tonight too, where like, I'm not the little woman in the corner like that doesn't know anything anymore. I'm part of this, and I'm not going anywhere. When Ray tries to send her away, and I think that's why she stays, because he's being honest with her about it. He told her that he hooked up with Sonia, and she dismissed it, and I'm sure it hurt, but I think deep down she's happiest with him and knowing that she's part of the team now. Right. I mean, they have a full discussion. Ray and Sonia have a discussion about him killing somebody, how to get out of the situation and potentially kill more people right in front of Abby. Now, she has a emotional reaction to it, like, no, you can't do this. But Ray says, anything you have to say, you can say right here in front of Abby. And I think that was a big step for him.
That was a huge moment. And I was waiting, because there was just like a little pause right there, and I was like, he's gonna let her listen in. I could like feel that moment coming. He was like, you can say whatever you want right here. And that's another time I was like, go Ray. But I definitely agree, it's just a different dynamic between the two of them now. And Abby said herself, I killed somebody, I'm a part of this now. Like you said, she's not just like a bystander, the little woman, whatever, that can just be sent away. And she even brings up the fact that she has little control with this cancer thing, so it's just like she has to have control over something, and her control being staying in LA rather than being sent to Boston.
Yeah, I really liked Abby tonight. I thought she added to the episode, was really good, and becoming a sort of Lady Macbeth to Ray's Macbeth, driving it, just driving, being within the scenes and maybe controlling it a little bit this way and the next, and, not taking no for an answer. I like that a lot. She stood up for herself tonight, and the cancer diagnosis is there, and it motivated her action throughout the episode. So I thought she was a real value to tonight's episode. Overhanging everything, though, of course, is Bridget. And this whole daughter sympathy, Ray killing Belikov after he saw a young girl get killed, in tonight's episode with Bridget's supposed guitar that's going to her. I really think we're going to see a lot more of Karis Dorsey for the next few episodes, because she's been such a huge part. I mean, of this whole season. A lot of the motivating factors of these characters right now are being right for their kids and their daughters. Teresa with Maria. This is why I messed up the names, because Maria's the daughter.
Yeah, it's hard.
So, Teresa and Bunchy with Maria, and then, Ray and Abby with Bridget, they were really trying to bring her back into the family and to have a somewhat normal experience for her. So I'm hoping we see a little bit more of Bridget.
Yeah, me too.
So, final topic I wanted to talk about was Terry getting a date.
I was hoping we were gonna get to Terry.
What did you think?
Well, first of all, the date. This is yet another thing I'm screaming at the TV. I'm like, oh, he likes her. I was like, the cop's back. Yes. Yeah. But before we even get to that, did you notice? So when Terry gets invited to Hector's photo. Yes. He was just so happy, and I was so happy for him. You could see the smirk on his face, and then the photographer's like, you can't smile. You have to, match everyone else. And so he kind of had to, fall back a little bit, but I feel like that was a really big moment for him, and I was happy.
That's a great point, and I forgot to mention it, but he's accepted. He's a part of training a champion fighter, and he's in their corner despite his Parkinson's and having to fight that every day, and having Francis leave him a long time ago. Terry's on the comeback trail.
Right.
And I saw the cop just being like totally into him. I mean, her body
Yeah.
language, her whole body was pointed toward him, and the
Oh, is that
eye
a
contact,
giveaway?
That's an indicator. Yes, it is.
Interesting. I didn't know
It is.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Next time you're at a bar,
I want to see who's
you will
facing
notice.
me.
You'll see who is facing you. Well, guys will just like walk up and be like, "Hey," but girls, like, if they give like the full back, that's stay away.
Okay.
If like girls are sitting at the bar like this and they're facing out, those are
I
girls you want to go
wonder
and
if
talk to.
I need to pay more attention to my body language.
Yeah.
I wonder if I give that off to people.
What a bad look?
The positioning.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just stand square with everyone and that's my mistake. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And Abby knew from the whole purse situation, Abby called the situation out and she was like, she likes you.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah, and the good thing for Terry is he got a second chance. A lot of times, while we're on the dating topic, a lot of times you see somebody you like. I mean, you have to go for it in that moment, or you may never see that person again in your life. So, good news for Terry is he got back. The cop clearly liked him, and you know what? He wasn't going to let her get away this time. And I like that. He went out and got his girl. We'll see what happens with it, but yeah, there was some googly eyes going on.
I know.
From the officer with Terry, and such a good soul, and I really want to see him happy.
Yeah, I agree. You see, he wasn't even mad about the fire.
No, he's just
really
like, whatever, I got a date.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So good for him. Anything else we want to cover that I didn't mention before we get into our final segment?
I think I'm ready for predictions.
All right, let's go into it. The predictions for next week.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Want to make a quick note that Raymond J. Barry is one of those, hey, it's that guy actors, and he plays Dimitri. And he was on Justified as Arlo Givens and was a great actor. I can tell you by the look on your face, you've never seen that show.
Nope.
But a really good show. He played, a great role in it. A special shout out to Ted Levine, who played Little Bill Prim, who is now eliminated from the episodes. I liked the shooting in Nevada and seeing, Bill Prims and, Buffalo Bills as you're driving by. If you've driven to Vegas from LA, that's one of the first casinos you see on your way there. You're about an hour outside Vegas. So I'm going to miss seeing the shots there. I went to Buffalo Bills one time and I won $125 on my way to Vegas, and then we left right afterward. It's a really interesting place, and I liked it a lot. So I'm predicting that we are seeing no more of Las Vegas.
I'd say that's a good prediction.
There will be other predictions too. So why don't you go ahead?
Obviously a lot's gonna happen with the Russians and Ray. I am predicting Sonya isn't gone for good. She's gonna come back into this whole entire situation one way or another, whether they find her or something. But I'm predicting a lot of trouble between Ray and the Russians, which is an obvious prediction. But I think now that Mickey doesn't really have anything to lose, he's kind of going to become more involved in it as well.
Yeah. Mickey, I think your nothing to lose comment is really the truth here. Who doesn't have anything to lose anymore? I think that Sonya will come back, but that she's going to sacrifice herself for Ray. And that's because she has cancer, she's dying anyway. And I think she's going to have to give herself up, and maybe parting words to Ray that says, take care of my daughter, would you?
Yeah.
And then she'll go with her uncle. And there was a telling line tonight in the episode where, Vlad says, Dimitri killed her dad, and he'll kill you too, and all of us. So I think that was a bit of foreshadowing there, if I'm picking up on the writing, where Sonya may be sacrificed at some point. Just to make this all right, to make it all go away, I think she's going to have to go.
It makes the most sense. And that's interesting. That's like an interesting foreshadowing point, and it might even be, do you remember her conversation with Abby when she pretty much said, like, so you slept with my husband because you're gonna die?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, well, she kind of is, you know, she knows she's gonna die, so she's making some decisions based upon that. So
Yeah.
I could see that coming into play with your
Some
prediction.
decisions that she wouldn't normally make.
Yeah.
So I see that coming. What do you think's gonna happen with Avi?
We're not gonna lose him. Ray always finds a way. He's gonna
Okay.
find a way.
He's near death right now. It would be really shocking to lose Avi, a beloved character, semi-major character in the show, and has been here all along. Though, really, this season he has been relegated to sort of, you know, second duty and just sort of carrying out the jobs. In past seasons, we learned about his mom, that we spent more time with Avi. He's been sort of de-emphasized this season. I think, unfortunately, I really like seeing him and Lena. Lena is great. Give her more to do, please. I love seeing her. I think Avi will get out. I think he'll be safe. Like you said, I think Ray will show up and talk to Dimitri. And, you know, Avi may be held hostage for a little while Ray tries to work out a solution. I hope the solution is not just one big gun battle like it was for the Manassians last season. But I think it'll be something a little bit more creative, where, you know, Ray goes to work for Dimitri, or, you know, Dimitri may stick around past the end of this season and go into next season.
Right.
It's an interesting point, you know, to see what's coming.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation.
Super sticky, and one where it's like, what is going to happen? You know, I don't know how Ray's going to work himself out of this one. Which makes it a lot more fun. It makes me anticipate next week's show.
Right.
Any more predictions?
What do you think is going to happen with Teresa and Bunchy and their family?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I'm happy that she busted out of her postpartum depression. That's the good news. I think she will come back, but I believe that she's going to have to insist that Bunchy moves away from his family, and that they go, you know, and start out on their own somewhere. They've got a ton of money now that the robbery's done, and Mickey doesn't even want his share. So now Bunchy and Teresa and Maria have $4 million, and who knows what to do with it. I think they will relocate to somewhere that's more quiet, that is, you know, so that they can start their own life away from a family who has often thought of Bunchy as the very little brother, as somebody who has not been able to care for himself. And I think him and Maria and Teresa will forge their own path, and their family is behind them. Teresa's family has sort of, you know, let her go, and they don't really care anymore. But with a bunch of new money, I'd like to see them start a new life. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. That's a positive plot line for them.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it could totally turn the other way, where Bunchy's got to give the money to Ray to make sure that his family is safe.
Oh. Yeah, that's interesting. So we just came up on $4 million, and we got to see where that's going toward.
Yep. So you could see, I'll make a side prediction to that. You could see at the beginning of the episode where Ray learns about the money that they just got, and maybe he has to use it to get Dimitri and the rest of the guys to back off.
Right.
So anyway, let us know what your predictions are out there. Reach out to us online or comment directly on our YouTube page. Use the hashtag ABTV Ray Donovan. Anything else, Olivia?
That's it.
That's it. That's all for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in to the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Ray Donovan. We'll be back next week for episode 10. Thank you so much for listening. Until then, we have been Olivia Gabaree.
We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thereal_O_G. Yeah, I was about to be like, bye.
And I have been Frank Maiorana. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Let's Go Frank Gem. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. Go out and be blessed. We'll see you back soon.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.